Όταν η μητέρα μου με ρωτάει τι δουλειά κάνω, της λέω ότι βγάζω λεφτά για άλλους. Λοιπόν, θα μιλήσω για λίγο στα ελληνικά και μετά θα γυρίσω στα αγγλικά με αφάνταστη ελληνική προφορά. Θέλω να ευχαριστήσω τους ανθρώπους που με καλέσαν εδώ πέρα. Για μένα η διαφήμιση, η αρχοντούλα μου θύμισε ότι πριν 12 χρόνια έλεγα ότι πόσο γαμάτη είναι η διαφήμιση και θα ήθελα κάποτε να βρίσκομαι σε αυτήν. Και βρίσκομαι τώρα 12 χρόνια μετά να μιλάω σε εσάς. Η ελληνική διαφήμιση νομίζω ότι ξεκινάει να βρίσκει τα βήματά της, να αντιλαμβάνεται ότι τίποτα δεν είναι δεδομένο και το πιο σημαντικό είναι ότι πρέπει να μαθαίνουμε συνέχεια πράγματα, συνέχεια να εκπαιδεύουμε τους εαυτούς μας. Και το πιο σημαντικό είναι ότι αντιλαμβανόμαστε ότι γίνεται όλο και πιο σημαντικό ότι πρέπει να δημιουργούμε brands που είναι loyal στους ανθρώπους. Τα επόμενα 39 λεπτά θα σας μιλήσω για αυτή την αλλαγή. Πώς από brand loyals αρχίζουμε και μιλάμε για loyal brands. So, to introduce myself, I'm George Achillias. I'm a physicist. I work in London, and the last 15 years I'm doing strategy for Future 250 companies and Forbes 100. And it's all about connecting the dots, all about data, all about understanding how we can disrupt businesses, and the most interesting part, how we can make the life of well-established businesses really hard. How we can get into a room and say, if you do it that always, and this was the way you have done the business, this is wrong. And we have to change this. So that's quite interesting because we live in a world where the distinction between physical and digital gets blurrier, foggier. And we live in a world where we try to understand what we have to do in order to face the challenges. Things go so fast in completely different directions. We have to understand how to become even more relevant. I love to see the media guys and guys coming from the creative part of the world to start talking about relevancy. Because in the last 15 years, we discovered that companies that failed to be relevant got out of the market. Companies that understood that they had the best business model said, or they didn't want to change anything, they completely placed themselves outside the market or got acquired from someone else. And this is not something we want to observe. This is not something we want to feel it, or we don't want to happen to our clients. And we see that because more and more companies start to prepare themselves for something digital. And some years ago, digital was all about likes on Facebook, favors on Twitter, or things relevant to a social presence to our people. Nowadays, digital is something much more complicated. It's much more faster. It's much more demanding from everybody. And this because we observe a shift into the value creation process. People start creating value alone. People start to understand that they want to participate in what we call value creation. And companies, instead of launching new products, new services, new offerings to the audience, they try to understand how they can be part of this. And we see that if they understand this, then they create a platform. So the platform as a service is something we want to go after. Because if we offer a platform, then for sure, we can be part of this value creation. And the most amazing part is that the people create value on their own. So they want companies to enhance this, and supplement, not to say that they are the only value creation owners. And this is interesting because people have changed for good. People are no longer passive receivers of messages. People are no longer someone we want to address and say, you have to do that or buy the other product. Or people are not these that they can easily accept thousands of messages relevant to them. But they are at the same time widely influenced. Their attention span is less than 10 seconds. So we have to make sure that we have the right message, at the same time the right technology, and last but not least, the right design for them in order to make sure that first they won't leave our site, and last but not least that they're going to do the action they make them to arrive to our site. At the same time, they are empowered What means empowered means that they try always to understand that what they want to get it. Most of the time, brands make a mistake to say that we're going to compare ourselves with the competition we think that is out there. But what they miss is that all the time companies are compared to what people believe that is the best. For instance, we compare what Uber offers to FedEx. We compare Vodafone with BuzzFeed. We compare what Amazon delivers to their consumers with what airline companies support them to offer. And this is quite interesting because everything has to do with how impulsive people are. How many times have you abandoned a purchase because the experience wasn't good? How many times you choose a different service provider because the website was completely unattractive? And how many times you thought that this is completely irrelevant for your actual need, so you had to make something different? And this need for new services, new products, new interactions is what makes people explorers. People like to discover new stuff. People like to talk, and people expect brands to be there one step ahead from them. And the most important, to serve their needs. And this is quite interesting because people like to use technology, but they are not after technology. Some years ago, they asked what is the biggest innovation that we experience every day? And the response to that was the ABS we have in our cars. The reason? There is no manual. There is no switch on, switch off adapter, and the most important, it is there only when we need it. So people use Uber not because of the technology, but because they get rid of hassle. And this is something really important because people want to feel that their needs are always met, and at the same time that the values they have are respected. We love Uber, but nowadays they face a major crisis. And this is because they violated the trust between the various stakeholders, between the passengers and the platform. And that makes us to understand that all this new ecosystem we create generates more expectations. People start being even more demanding. People start to ask for more with less. People are after value, not after price. People are after what really matters to them to make sure that they get something relevant to their context. And that drives us to understand that the future of engagement for each brand is not relevant to what we see, what we get, what we like to perceive. It's how it makes us feel, how relevant it is to our needs, how easy it is to satisfy our approach to ask for experiences. And this is something that drive us to create even simpler experiences. We want to make sure that everything is without friction. Friction is something terrible. Friction is something that we don't want to have it in our brand. And what we like is to get value from every brand, no matter the context we are. Netflix, for instance, started producing their own TV shows in order to make sure that they will never run out of content. At the same time, Amazon experiments with unmanned drones to deliver parcels in order to make sure that they control even the last mile between their warehouses and our doors. But we have never have to forget that value creation with actually people participation can't exist. One of the biggest examples on this is IKEA. IKEA managed to establish their brand for two reasons. The one, that they were emotionally connected with people. People get emotionally connected when they build the furniture they buy from IKEA. But at the same time, because they were really, really relevant to something that really matters to people. The access to affordable, well-designed furniture. So in order to become relevant, we need to make sure that we change completely our perspective. The knowledge is not longer in a spec, in a brief, in a product we are about to launch, or something we think that is right. The knowledge is in data. The knowledge is out there. We have to start talking with people. We have to start interviewing people. We have to make sure that we understand very, very well that the world is not linear. It's not that we go from stage 1 to stage 2 and we expect people to react to what we can offer them per stage. We have to understand that everything can trigger a behavior. We have to understand that everything is related to what people expect in order to satisfy their needs. And we may change goals, but always we have one mission. And this mission is always to be relevant. Digital anthropologists and ethnographers asked one question. What simple concept was able to change our ability to define innovation, our ability to change the society, our ability to change the ways we communicated? And they found that this magic word, this magic concept was all about connections. The way we get connected, the way we connect things. So nowadays, we get to the next era where everything gets connected. That's me, you, your fridge, your car, my car. Everything starts get connected. So we live in a completely different era where we connect machines and devices to the internet so fast that by 2100, the number of connected devices will be much larger than the grains of sand on Earth. Can you imagine? And all these machines start communicating. All these machines start to have access to our value creation process. All these machines and all these connections achieve one thing, and one thing is to raise expectations. People have a huge number of expectations, a tremendous amount of expectations from us, from brands, because it's all about how we make sure that the brands are relevant and can mimic our behavior, how they can meet our expectations per content, how we make sure that we are able to understand data in a way that becomes always relevant to the context. So when something is not relevant or something doesn't meet our anticipations, then becomes outdated. And believe me, this is not something we want to happen. This is not something we want to experience, because then we experience a very interesting feeling. And this is uncertainty. Uncertainty is what drives things forward. Uncertainty is when we feel that our value proposition, our brand, is not relevant to the context, but at the same time becomes an opportunity for new players, for new offerings. And also, if we are not brave enough, it makes us make this.
Have you ever borrowed a book from thousands of miles away? Across the country?
Gesture ahead. Take next.
Without stopping for directions?
Route 101.
Or sent someone a fax? From the beach?
Our card, please.
Carried your medical history in your wallet?
Your wife's gonna be just fine.
So this is where we stand on the atrium.
Or attended a meeting?
I really like what you guys have been doing, but
in your bare feet?
and they have a few other ideas.
Have you ever watched the movie you wanted to?
Science fiction.
The minute you wanted to? You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
So 1993, everything we have now, everything we enjoy now, everything that is offered to us now, AT&T had described them 25 years ago. Why they never made it? Because they didn't have the courage. And because we are unable to work about the future if we use the tools of the past. If we use the same way of understanding things, interacting, if we use the same way to make sure that we understand what are the expectations from our audience there. And in order to face that, we have to start creating something related to experience. And this is digital ecosystems, where digital ecosystems are all about non-linear interaction. And is where we start creating new business models, new products, new offerings, and make sure that our brand is about to follow in real time the context of its users. And this, what can create for us? Limitless possibilities. It's a blue sky where we can create value for the brand. It's something able for us to take advantage not only of the context, but also of the data. And the data, we have to work with them in a completely new way to create insights. And this gonna be the one way, or we can, full of fear, to make statements like this, that everything was possible, we have done it. So in order to avoid that, we have to start working together to create the future together. Arthur said that they don't, he shows us a video saying that they don't sit back in the office expecting to create value without the participation of the brands. For us, it's really important to make sure that we participate and we collaborate with people responsible to create the value for the brand. We are there to make decisions together. And it's not all about budget or challenges. It's all about feeling the pain to deliver on time something remarkable for our customers. And this, because at the end of the day, what really matters is to understand that the connections really change the way we experience the world. Really change how value is delivered, really change the way people interact with brands or expect things from them. But now we have to step back, a small step, and understand how important design is in our life. And when we are talking about design, it's not about only the outcome of creative work, but it's about applying design principles into our daily life. How design thinking can lead us to have the right questions. It's not only about having right answers. Nobody cares about answers, but it does care about having the right questions. Our responsibility is to never, never settle with the first answer coming out, with the first product, with the first solution. And based on this, we start saying that this is an equation we have always to meet, that if we fail to deliver to meet the expectations people having from us, then simply as that, we fail to deliver value. And if we fail to deliver value, then we become completely irrelevant. How this can happen? This is a question always we received from our clients. And this is all about, we're going to work with you. This is all about creating the right understanding of the context. This is all about getting rid of old mindsets. This is all about understanding that a collaboration process has to do with how we work with data. And we have to start working with data in a different way, where we transform data into insights, where we understand where market goes. We understand what trends are around there. We understand how we can formalize a brand to be responsive. And based on this, we create the future vision. You know, in order to navigate in the open sea, we need two tools. The one is the compass, and the other is the radar. A compass shows us the direction we have to take. So the future vision is all about the direction we have to take and maintain in order to reach our destination. But at the same time, a radar shows us what is ahead. And in order to do that, we need an experience roadmap, where we map all the touch points and we make sure that we understand how each touch point performs in a non-linear way. Based on this, we start creating prototypes. And prototypes is not only about theoretical approaches, concepts, or visions we like to deliver to the client, but it's all about how we can touch the outcome of a specific idea, how we can try it in real terms, and how we can understand what it works or it doesn't. And then we have to make sure that the project is not a typical one, which means we don't have milestones and we don't have an end day. It's an ongoing journey where we understand in real time how our campaigns, how our programs, how our engagement with our clients out there works, and make sure that we either fine-tune it in real time or we get rid of the old one and we create something new. Based on this, I would like to share with you some cases we worked with the clients around the world. And this work was about working with the clients, was about participating in their daily challenges they had to face. And we did that, for instance, with Brussels Airlines. Brussels Airlines asked us to see how they can transform experience people enjoy from the moment they arrive to the airport to the moment they leave the airport. So we said that we have to understand what kind of experience they get. We need to understand how is the environment in the airplane, and we did this. So the result of this was within 48 hours, we were able to put in place an experience roadmap. We applied and we managed to increase 42 the conversions rates because we were able to understand what people are dissipating during the trip from an airliner. Then, some months ago, one of the largest financial institutions asked us to deliver the vision, what is value beyond money? How a bank can be our partner in our daily life. Either it has to come about buying tacos or about financing our new house. And we did that.
We live in a world where value moves beyond money. And with this profound change, there's a great opportunity to create a bank you wouldn't want to live without. Not couldn't, wouldn't. Today, value is no longer just paper, it's data. But the true value is what you do with this data, how it enables you to live a smarter, more connected, and informed life. The bank of the future will offer services that hold and activate all of your values beyond money. So can we create a bank you wouldn't want to live without? We can.
My boyfriend and I are always trying to get our heads around how our choices affect our future. Should we save up more? Can we buy that house that we really want?
Imagine a bank that encircles you and the people, experiences, and products you love. A bank that naturally enables payments and financial experiences in any situation, and is always smoother and smarter than yesterday.
My entire life is online. My dad worries about that, but I know everything is secure. Like when I'm out with friends, it's super easy to share the bill, even if they're not already in my circle.
Now imagine a bank that protects you and your family's valuable data as well as all of your social, professional, permanent and momentary transactions, giving you full control of what you want to share and with whom. Right now, customers are looking beyond banks to fulfill their needs for a smarter, easier and more connected life. They're looking to the hundreds of new smart services that link financials with everything in their lives. They're looking to the small and agile, to the ones that offer a quick fix at the expense of privacy and security.
For me, an ideal life is one where I'm not restricted by the things that I own. I mean, I lease my car, I live in a rented apartment that let me live the way I want. Free of ownership, where it's more about building great relationships.
Now we need to redesign the value of having a bank to constantly exceed the customer's expectations of the future. If we do so, the potential of a bank is much greater than it could ever have been in the past. It becomes truly transformational. We must move beyond handling money to delivering valuable and meaningful services that connect with more of our lives, helping us make informed decisions, effortless transactions, and protect what we love. This is your life. It's smarter than ever. It's a bank you wouldn't want to live without. It's value beyond money.
So you understand, we like to transform a value to start having an emotional connection with us. And this is based on the values our values we like to be projected in the bank. Now something very, very interesting for Greece. You know, in Swedish Scandinavian archipelago, people travel a lot by boats. But the market is open, is well regulated, and people have to choose, they can choose from a variety of services. That's a result. We wanted to create a completely new, frictionless experience for them when it came to buy a new ticket to travel somewhere. So we created an app, and this app was responsible within 6 weeks of each launch to increase the sales of Malls Linien by 10%. And but we took out the friction from the process to buy a new ticket. So that was quite interesting because we saw that people started traveling even more when they started using the app. Now, Jacob said before that people stopped going to car dealerships. And when they go, either they buy or not. It becomes binary. In our case, Audi came to us and said, I want to completely reestablish the connection people have with car dealerships in the city center and make sure that they get the best possible understanding of what they're going to buy. How we can use sensors, how we can use the emotional connection a person has with a car in order to make sure that the whole purchasing process becomes a one lifetime experience. And we created this. if you ever find yourself in London, don't hesitate to visit. It's close to the Green Park and ask for this experience. That concept increased the sales of luxury Audis by 35% year over year. Now, you know, the job to make America great again is taken by Paul's favorite guy. But AT&T came to us and say how we can make AT&T great in the eyes of small and medium businesses in the United States. How we can take advantage of the physical and digital combination. How we make sure that there is no friction. How we make sure that our business partners get whatever they want based on their needs. So we did that.
AT&T Business Center is setting out to redefine the digital customer experience. It's about creating something simple, empowered, and immediate, regardless of platform. We are unifying Business Direct, Premier, and other servicing portals into a single, effortless customer experience. Our adaptive approach grants a consistent experience across any digital medium, ready to meet an ever-shifting device landscape. Product information is now easier to understand. And buying is a breeze, with immediate and intuitive ways to complete purchases. We are enabling delivery that is accurate, on time, and keeps the customer informed throughout the process. Service is more flexible, easier to use, and focused on adding value. Intuitive support options make sure that customers have quick, detailed, personalized answers to their questions. AT&T Business Center is learn, buy, get, use, pay, and support re-engineered with a fanatical focus on the customer, delivering the best-in-class digital experience.
So, to wrap it up, the magic is where relevancy exists, because if we achieve relevancy, we achieve revenues. And we have to work together, brands, agencies, various stakeholders, to take the best out of today's world while we are planning the future. Because if we don't plan and make the future, someone else will do it for us. Thank you very much.